Listen to a recording from the North Queensland, Tropical North Queensland tourism discussion in regards to 3,190 jobs, additional jobs, expected to be lost by December because of the COVID crisis. This is Jürgen Steinmetz with eTober News in Honolulu. Please stay tuned to listen to the segment from Australia.
All right, fantastic. So Mark Olsen, CEO, Tourism, Tropical North Queensland. Fantastic. So the business community of Cairns and the wider region are here today calling on government to get behind our businesses and our employees during these uncertain times. Coping with COVID is all about confidence. It's the confidence to leave home and travel. It's the confidence to keep employees in their jobs, and it's the confidence to stay with this industry during these times when we don't know what's happening with the vaccine rollout. We don't know how the rollout and roadmap will play over the next 6 months. Businesses and employees need certainty, they need to be given some clear guidance, and they need wage support. Prior to COVID, tourism supported 1 in 5 jobs in our community. Over the last 6 months, we've seen a quarter of those jobs disappear, and by Christmas, another quarter. Half of all of the tourism jobs supporting 1 in 5 jobs in our community will have disappeared before Christmas if there isn't immediate support. There are more than 650 businesses today pondering the next few weeks and whether or not they can survive without the certainty of a good, strong September-October school holidays and without wage support. The modelling by TTF is clear. Half of the jobs in tourism will be gone by Christmas. That has a flow-on effect to all businesses in our community, not just the frontline tourism employees. The butchers, the bakers, the newsagents, the pharmacists, every business in this community gets a flow-on from that $3.5 billion of the visitor economy. What employees need now is the confidence to stay in their jobs, and they need wage support. The businesses are doing their bit. They're doing all they can to support their employees, and what we need to see is what the state and federal government did just 10 days ago, to come together, to hatch a plan, and to provide the wage support directly to the employees here who are more than 30% down. Most of our businesses are currently running at less than 10% of their pre-COVID levels. We have been doing this for 8 weeks, and we have many months ahead of reduced numbers. At this stage, the forecast for the September-October school holidays is for the region to lose between $7 and $8 million every single day on our pre-COVID levels. Businesses cannot continue with this level of reduced visitation, and the staff can't continue with this level of uncertainty. We're calling on government today, please work together, provide the wage support. Both levels of government have agreed wage support is needed. Now we need not to worry about who, but when you can provide this support. I'll hand over now to Patricia from the Chamber of Commerce to talk about the impact right the way through the business community, and then Advanced Cairns, Paul Sparshot, and then we'll hear from some of the industry. Thanks, Dan.
So, as Mark said, this is not just about one sector of this economy. This is about our region in its entirety. The human impact of what's actually happening right now is not just the loss of one job or 2 jobs, it's the loss of one family or 2 families that actually will leave the region and have a detrimental impact on our population. We need to keep people here. We need to keep businesses open. We need to keep, as Mark said, the butcher. We need to keep the shoe shop. We need to keep the beautician. We need to keep all businesses open for as long as possible. And if collaboration can't happen today, it needs to happen tomorrow. These people are leaving right now, and we need all levels of government to actually come around the table and make a decision on supporting these jobs.
Advanced Cairns absolutely agrees.
I'm sorry to apologise. Would you just mind saying your name and title,
sorry.
please?
Just a little step forward. Yeah, sorry. Hi, it's Paul Sparshot, CEO of Advanced Cairns.
Can I just get you to spell that as well? How do you say that?
Sparshot, S-P-A-R-S-H-O-T-T. Thanks. Advanced Cairns absolutely agrees with our colleagues, Mark and Patricia. It is a crisis at the moment. It's an economic crisis. Other states may have a health crisis, but we have an economic crisis up here. And when tourism stops up here, because our southern markets are locked out, Cairns really suffers. And as Patricia said before, it's not just tourism, it's all our industries. The future has been looking really bright for Cairns in the last few months before these latest lockdowns. Things are really starting to pick up, and there's a lot of great industries that are set to really grow. Unfortunately, these latest lockdowns down south have actually put that overall growth under enormous threat, and it may not happen. So we've seen that people are leaving. If they can't get jobs or they're laid off, they go, we lose those people forever. The last thing I'd just like to comment on is we do have a pathway out, that is vaccination. National Cabinet have agreed to targets to be set when we can open up again. That relies on everyone getting vaccinated. But in the meantime, this job support is absolutely essential. Thank you.
I'd like to reintroduce someone that we all met just a few months ago. When the region was heading into its peak, we were bringing workers in from right across Australia to deal with the peak demand. We were looking at our busiest winter on record for domestic travellers, and Hunter, who joined us then as part of the campaign for Work in Paradise, came to our region from regional Victoria, jumped into the workforce and also jumped in behind the camera to help us lure other Victorians and other workers from across Australia. Unfortunately, the uncertainty around this situation means that we can't keep Hunter in our region for much longer, and he's going to say a few words.
Alright, hey guys, my name's Hunter from Wildlife Habitat, and unfortunately I am heading back home from the region, which to me is a real shame, just because I love my job up here so much as a zookeeper. The uncertainty of living up here for me is a little bit hard, so I will be heading back to regional Victoria for the time being. The biggest thing for me though is I do want to come back up to this region because I love it so much. I'm really passionate about the wildlife and the adventure that this place brings, and it's just really sad to see other businesses and especially the tourism industry suffering from that COVID crisis. So hopefully things will get better, and I'd love to be back up here again joining everybody and yeah, really living out my dreams like I was a few months ago. So thank you.
What's your surname? Just ask you, how long have you been up here for? I think you just touched on that.
Yep.
What are your hours like at the moment? Are they?
So I've been living up here for probably about 7 months now, and my hours, they've stayed reasonably the same, but you can see that it has been affected a little bit throughout the wildlife park, the hours of people in the park, and just you can see the stress from like the people who run the park about how they're going to keep people employed in the future with so low numbers coming through the doors of the wildlife park. It's definitely right there in your face. You can really see the impact of it, especially through our industry. So yeah.
And it's your situation, you haven't been able to find anything else around here because
I'm personally just going home for the comfortability of being home with family and friends for now during these tough times. That's basically my main reason for heading back home, and yeah, just to really find a way to get back up here in the future. I'll try to figure out something else when I come to it, so yeah.
And Hunter, what's your surname?
So my real name is Daniel Hunt.
Daniel Hunter, okay.
The nickname comes from the last name Hunt, so yeah, no worries, all good. All right, thank you very much, cheers.
And of course, we always want to hear from some of the industry just to understand the broader impact. You know, we're talking about thousands of jobs that have been lost and thousands of jobs that will be lost, and it's these employers who deal with that crisis on a day-to-day basis. So I'll bring in Ben first from Capta Group, and then Roderick Rees. Thanks very much.
Hi Ben, can I just get you to say name and title, please?
Sure. Ben Woodward, Director of Sales and Marketing for the Capta Group. Obviously, as the Capta Group, Wildlife Habitat is one of our attractions, and hearing Hunter's story firsthand, it really is quite devastating for us as an employer to be losing such a great member of staff who came here with such enthusiasm to be working in our business through what was going to be busy months. It's devastating for us as an employer that we aren't able to offer that stability of employment, particularly at the moment. We're coming into launching our new croc arena, which we've had both state and federal funding for. It's been years in the making, and it's really, I guess, putting a dampener on the excitement of this fantastic new facility because we're coming into school holidays in September or October with even greater uncertainty than we've had throughout this whole pandemic. So it really is devastating for us as an employer to hear the story of someone like Hunter and the situation we're in with the uncertainty at the moment. We really are calling on both the state and federal governments to work together, to listen to the stories of people like Hunter and how their lives are being affected by this, and do what they can to work together to provide some sort of scheme that we really need. Wage subsidy, support, some form of JobKeeper, or it needs to be reinvented as some other form of wage support, JobSaver, whatever it is, we need these two governments to work together and help save businesses now.
Same thing. Rod, name and title.
Hey, yeah, Roderick Rees, Director of Cairns Adventure Group and Raging Thunder Adventures. Do you have questions, or you want me to just talk?
Yeah, do you want to just talk, Rod? You've always got something to say.
Look, we are facing an economic crisis here, and it's affecting our employees. We won't have an industry if we don't support the employees right now. These people are bleeding. They have no money, and they have no work, and they have nowhere to go. We don't care if it comes from the state or it comes from the federal government. The finger pointing that played out in the media today is unacceptable for these employees. The state and the feds need to come together and work out who's going to foot the bill for this wage subsidy, or there won't be an industry left here in Cairns.
And Rod, what about your experience? Because you actually brought up quite a few workers from interstate with you. What's happened there?
Yeah, look, we brought up 12 employees from interstate and started 12 employees training. There's 2 people left of those 24 people. We just cannot provide any work for them, and so they've got no stability in the region, and they've had to return home through lack of confidence and lack of income.
Thanks,
That's all.
Mark, for questions? Do you have any questions for Mark or
Anything else you need?
Well, obviously we saw that wage support, a couple of weeks ago. There was one of the brands, but obviously it doesn't get far enough for a lot of businesses.
The majority of businesses in tourism in our region are losing around $5,000 every day. The support that was provided was much needed, it was timely and it was direct, and that's exactly the support that we need now. Timely, direct and proportional to the impact. We're talking about businesses that cannot keep their staff. This doesn't just impact us today, it will impact us for months and years to come. Some of the jobs we're losing at the moment are people who have 10 years experience, whose experience and skills are irreplaceable. You can't just train someone up in 6 weeks. Some of these positions take years to be replaced. So the recovery of the region, and therefore the recovery of the nation in tourism, will be hampered by losing these skills to other industries, as people only search for what everybody deserves, some certainty.
Obviously, I think last year we were sort of, how it sort of compared to different things, SARS, you've got the pilot strike. We're seeing how long this has actually gone from how devastating it is for some businesses. How does this take us break in that scan?
Yeah, the impact of COVID on Cairns and the Great Barrier Reef is incomparable to anything else. Nothing has gone on this long. Nothing has created this level of uncertainty. Never have we closed the international borders to $1 billion worth of revenue into this community. Never have we closed our state borders to each other more than 30 times in the last 18 months. We've had less than 27 days in a row without a border closure. Now, from a health perspective, it's the right thing to do. From a business perspective, it's impossible to provide certainty to your staff and certainty to your owner that this is the right industry to be in when you can't operate for more than 27 days in a row without a significant change in your business operations. It's too much change, it's too much uncertainty, and there isn't confidence in going forward. We need to provide some level of confidence for businesses to keep these incredibly skilled staff. By Christmas, we're talking about 6,800 people who are highly skilled losing their jobs for the immediate future, for an uncertain amount of time. That flows right the way through our community. Now is the time to act. Now is the time to take decisive action and to provide that certainty to the employers and these incredible employees, to keep them in our region, keep them in our industry and keep them here for our recovery.
Obviously the government's been talking about vaccination as being, the key to, getting us out of this. We saw the protests over the weekend, people not wanting to get vaccinated, all sorts of things. Is that sort of topical?
Look, the roadmap out of this is hinged to vaccination, and that's another part of the uncertainty. Businesses don't know when those levels will be reached. States are having trouble agreeing on what that really means. It just creates more inky blackness for businesses trying to work out what the future holds. And you see the human impact on the employees. That level of uncertainty as to when this comes back has never been higher. We came out of the COVID lockdowns originally with JobKeeper support, and businesses had confidence and momentum and strong forward bookings. At that time, we were seeing 4 in 5 bookings postponed and brought to later in the year. At the moment, less than 1 in 5 of those bookings is holding on. We don't have a strong forward bookings for the September-October school holidays, and we're predicted to lose $7 to $8 million a day yet again. There needs to be some confidence driven back in, and that starts with the employees. This is a service industry. It relies on skilled people, and they need to be supported. And that will flow right the way through the community. There are tons of businesses who aren't directly in tourism that are being directly impacted by this, much more than the 30% threshold. All we're asking is provide that confidence, provide that certainty, provide that wage support.